that the Russians are in compliance and what, as you know, New START lays out for the...
But frankly, while we were sleeping in the last decade and a half, China had remarkable rise in capabilities that are stunning. A lot of that was achieved. Significant amount of that was achieved by stealing information from our companies, by inserting Chinese in certain of our labs, or bringing back technological stolen properties, which China engaged.
To accomplish impossible missions. Sometimes these come from the minds of in-house geniuses. Sometimes they're the fruits of successful...
It's a serious issue that has to be dealt with. You are right on target in terms of saying that rule of law and international norms and fairness in trade and engagements is not the Chinese model. In counter it, we have to expose it. It was exposed yesterday in a significant way relative to telecommunications, and Director Wray can talk about that. We have alerted our allies. They are now second-guessing in questioning their initial responses to China.
Is there any treaty that Russia has with the United States to which they are currently adhering?
And I would just say that one of the things that the American people, I think, are now sort of waking up to understand is that the Chinese government, the lines between the Chinese government and the Chinese Communist Party are blurred, if not totally erased. The lines between the Chinese government and Chinese state-owned enterprises, the same. The line between the Chinese government and ostensibly private companies, for all the reasons you described, and especially the line between lawful behavior and fair competition and lying and hacking and cheating and stealing.
Syria, the Assad regime takes control of northwest Syria.
And one of the things that I've been most encouraged about in an otherwise bleak landscape is the degree to which, as Director Coates was alluding to, American companies are waking up, American universities are waking up, our foreign partners are waking up. And it's one of the few issues that I find when I engage in the interagency and up on the Hill. Covering from one end of the spectrum to the other, there seems to be actually more consensus than I've ever seen before in my career. And I think that's a positive, and we need to build on that.
Is it not fair to say that China today poses, just looking at the scale and scope of the threat, that China today poses the most significant counterintelligence threat this nation has faced, perhaps in its history, but certainly in the last quarter to century?
As I look at the landscape today and over the course of my career, I still think of myself as a little bit young, that the Chinese counterintelligence threat is more deep, more diverse, more vexing, more challenging, more comprehensive, and more concerning than any counterintelligence threat I can think of.
Again at 1 o'clock.